There's also differently named round of debate that we will have. So it's when should blacklists be updated or names be deleted, for example, in terms of like GDPR, what form should they have, what does banning someone look like, how like can or should these be aligned with the complaints mechanism, and then what gaps are is like the practice of blacklisting. Often this is not like something concrete, but something more nebulous. What gaps is filling in the network? Yeah, again, just like sharing of this debate is to share like best practices, maybe closer collaboration, kind of standardization of practices, seeing that appropriate measures are taken, but also that this isn't like a experience sharing debate. So please talk about practices and not bad experiences you've had with people. I know we all have stories from our own NCs, so yeah.
Thank you very much. We will now be moving on to statements. We have already some statements received through agenda setting form. So,
Or my make one suggestion as well. Also I could put into the room, I don't know if anyone would want to start the live stream for this, but just also putting that out there that if that's possible, but no.
if I may say my opinion, I think leaving the live stream on would encourage people to not bring their experience forward. So if that's
Experience goes, people behave.
Exactly, everyone will be punished, yeah. So we have, I see UK and Czech Republic, anyone else? Was the liberal statement? No, okay, then UK and Czech Republic, we have a mic somewhere.
Wait, turn it
Perfect. You can choose the order, whatever you want. Okay, in terms of NC blacklisting, I think when we think about it, we must think about it as applying to quite clear-cut cases. But this isn't speaking from personal NC perspective, but more the role that we've seen blacklists take in our NC. A lot of the time, submitting things to national or international reporting processes, particularly from new members, can feel particularly intimidating, especially when this refers to things that happen maybe in a broader EYP context or in an EYP online space or in an EYP space, but not in relation to a session itself. And as an example, like if we talk about, you end the session, you will go to a bar afterwards, and then what happens in that bar is not technically within the scope of the session, but it's still within an EYP context for the EYP is, right? And I've seen blacklists function quite effectively as a kind of effective option for newer members, maybe to raise their hand and say, hey, this happened. And it's not within the scope of the session. So maybe based on national reporting, you can't submit that as a kind of, this happened, I have an issue. But what you can do is flag it and say, hey, I'm uncomfortable as a result of what happened in an EYP affiliated space. So with that being said, I think they work quite well, especially for informals or like social dynamics that arise as a result of an NC, not necessarily an NC specific activities or what happens during the day. I'd also like to say, like, this is my last point, but I think it's worth noting how the scope of the session can sometimes function in the sense that, okay, what's the direct response? But NC blacklist a lot of the time, I think, can also be used a little bit more responsibly than we think, in the sense that it's like, individual session, i.e. we don't think this person is suitable to VG nationals, but maybe we think this person could benefit from doing a training event, whatever. So I think maybe the term blacklist makes it sound a little more extreme than it is. It will be Portugal, you cannot direct respond a statement, but you can keep it as a point for later.
Thank you. I would, a lot of this I wanted to say, for us, it's very much a way of keeping tabs on people who do inappropriate things outside of the sessions, or maybe at the sessions, but the things come out only long after, so they maybe cannot be reflected in evaluations. What I, however, think is also an important thing to say here is that however functional or non-functional your NC blacklist is, there is a bit of an issue where, yes, we can blacklist someone who's problematic, but then we can still see them abroad because we don't really have a way of communicating the fact that they are problematic somewhere. And then, yes, they may not be problematic anymore, and they might, and then there are issues. So I feel like a part of this discussion should be also how to somehow share the knowledge or of flagging of people who may be issues in a broader scope. Not necessarily because I would like to ban someone long term from UIP or whatever. But we still need to realize that we work with children, that this is a space that including one may come at a cost of reputation and just well-being of others. And I think there's a lot of times hazard that should not be risked. So I feel like including this as a part of this conversation would be at least interesting, because I feel like we all have this sort of experience where we have seen someone problematic where they should not have been.